What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Hope everybody's day is going well. I'm Armin Hammer. You already know what it is. Back at it again with another Sparking Zero video. So if you guys couldn't tell already, we dropped the game. I'm not even gonna lie. Niggas done dropped the game, bro. I ain't even gonna bull. I have not been playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero as much as I've wanted to play it because as of right now in the game's current state, it is incredibly difficult to jump into online ranked matches and gain an actual fun experience. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the meta's too broken right now. It's a lot of shit going on with ranked. And the problem isn't, well, it's the characters, but it's not as much the characters as it is the core mechanics of the game itself. But I'll go into more detail about that in just a minute. So I just wanted to talk about, you know, not only what they should include in this upcoming patch, but what they should start implementing into the game in general in order to encourage longevity. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us want this game to, of course, last as long as possible, maybe even longer than Xenoverse 2. And that is what we will be talking about in today's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before I begin, I have been noticing that a lot of y'all have been going on and on and on about Sparking Zero losing its player base, you know, yada yada yada. But the truth of it is, every game experiences a loss in players, you know, especially the ones that are primarily based around multiplayer, you know, PvP, stuff like that. So shit like Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and Justice 3, if that eventually comes out, that will most likely experience a drought as well. It's sort of like a never-ending cycle with these modern era fighting games. You know what I'm saying? The game comes out, everybody's hype, we're all getting used to it, we're all learning. You know, even the lesser players that aren't really that good at the game, they're getting their wins off as well. So in a way, everybody's having fun. But then all of a sudden, you know, somebody or a small group of players, they discover some cheese. You know what I'm saying? They discover a way to exploit the system, making it extremely unfun for other players that want to have fun to get good at the game to play against. All of a sudden, they're scuffing the leaderboards, and now everybody's using the strat. You know what I'm saying? And then because of that, everybody just hops off because, you know, devs aren't doing anything to fix it. The game isn't really that fun to play anymore. All of a sudden, you're seeing the same 4 or 5 niggas online. It just becomes a whole shit show in such a short amount of time. You know what I mean? But if I've learned one thing from these fighting games over the past decade, it's that it's not about how the game starts. It's how the game picks itself up after running into a barrier. You know, whether they want to introduce new game modes, you know, stuff like that, balance patches, etc., etc. So let's get started. Now, obviously, the first problem that needs to be addressed is, of course, the input issues. Now, I've already feel like I've ranted about this enough in my last video, so we'll just pop a quick refresher course on it and we'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the delay, I don't think it's necessarily the online that's causing it, because even when I'm playing the episode battle, which is an offline feature for the game, I'm still getting massive amounts of input delay. So I think that's just a problem that's within the game as a whole. Was probably introduced when the patch came out, because I wasn't really having that problem beforehand. So hopefully they fix that shit, you know what I mean? Now when it comes to the online, because we all know it's a lot of problems with the inputs online, bruh. You know what I'm saying? If I got a nigga in a combo, right, the nigga should not just be able to slide out like that nigga 17 did when Trunks tried to stick his sword in him. Pause. And y'all know what I'm talking about, bruh. Because what's gonna happen is, when I get a nigga in a combo, they just gonna be like, well, I don't even need this super counter. I'm just gonna slide out of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in a situation where my character is about to die, after I create an opening, I should be able to seamlessly switch to another character. My nigga should not just be standing there like a fucking idiot. Cause what's gonna happen is I'ma create an opening for my opponent. You know, I'ma be a fair amount of distance away from him, right? Or he might be locked in a stun and I'll have the opportunity to switch. Next thing you know, the switch menu ain't gonna come up and my nigga gonna be standing there like an idiot, and the opponent's gonna assume, oh, well, he ain't gonna do nothing. Oh, guess I'ma just charge right in. Next thing you know, beep, bop, boop, bam. My character's dead. He slept. All cause the game hoed me and they didn't want to fucking let me switch. Same thing with transforming, right? If my opponent pulls out Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, Perfect Cell, Full Power Frieza, or some other bullshit nigga like that, and assuming that I have enough skill count to do so, I should be able to seamlessly pull up the transformation menu and transform. You know what I'm saying? If my opponent transforms, my nigga should not just be standing there shook like fucking Vegeta. Nigga standing there shook every time he sees a nigga transforms, right? I'm not trying to bang out with full power Jiren in my base form. I am not trying to bang out with fucking Kefla in my base form. I am not trying to bang out with Super Saiyan Blue Goku in my base form. Cause y'all all remember what happened when Frieza thought he was that nigga and he tried to bang out with God of Destruction Toppo in his base form. Yeah, that did not end well for him. That nigga got squeezed like a fucking lemon, my nigga. And y'all all remember what happened when Vegeta tried to bang out with Jiren in his base form. All respect to you, my brother, but you got your shit knocked the fuck out. I'm not even gonna lie. Let's move on. Now, the next issue is, of course, balancing. And I do acknowledge the fact that I said that this game should be broken. It should be unbalanced. But I was, of course, saying that under the pretense of all characters should not be the same strength. And I still stand firmly on that. All characters should not be on the same level of strength in this game. There are certain fighters that should perform well and perform better than other fighters due to them not being as nearly close to being the same power level in the anime. And of course, we all know that Tenkaichi Games is known for staying true to, you know, power levels and things of that nature. However, there are certain characters in the game that should not be as broken as they are right now. Take Master Roshi, for example, right? He is one of the lowest costing DP characters in the game with a cost of 2 DP. However, he is one of the most broken characters in the game right now. And that is due to him not only having the ability to use after image spam, but he also has the lightning surprise move, which I'm sure you've all seen by now. Now, the thing about the lightning surprise move is that it's unblockable, but we all know that. However, the travel distance on that hoe is fast as a bitch. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the travel speed might be faster than Gotenks' donut. Actually, no, it's gotta be faster than the donut, bro. Like, if he throws that shit out and you're within mid-range or point-blank range, you're caught because you literally can't sidestep it. The tracking on the move is so dumb that if you try to sidestep it, he'll just turn to wherever you sidestepped and hit the move, right? Like, I was literally watching Mark from RDC, you know, play SparkingZero a few weeks back on one of their streams, and he fought a Master Roshi player that did nothing but the lightning move, bro. Like, that's how stupid that shit is. Because after, you know, the lightning move is executed, it sends you plummeting to the ground, and you'll just sit on the ground for a long period of time. And that gives Master Roshi more than enough time to charge back up to 4 bars, step back, and throw that shit out again, bro. And I low-key felt bad for the dude, bro. Like, he just had to sit there and watch himself get hit by the lightning attack literally almost 8 times, bro, if not more than that. So they need to fix that move, bruh. They just need to fix Master Roshi in general, because like he's got after image spam, he's got the lightning move, and then on top of that, his ultimate attack is unblockable too. You know, the evil containment wave. But that's not really much of a problem. The problem is the after image spam and the fucking lightning move, bruh. They need to patch this nigga Master Roshi, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, because the devs were saying, oh, well, in order to score wins with the lower tier characters, you gotta actually be good at the game, because they're probably not gonna deal as much damage to the higher echelon characters like Gogeta, Beerus, maybe even Goku, Vegeta, etc., etc. But the thing is, you don't have to be good to use Master Roshi, bruh. All you gotta know is spam after image and spam the lightning move, bruh. That's it. Now, when it comes to fusion characters, I don't have an issue with the fusion characters that much, honestly. My only thing is, like, 2/3 of them have instant sparking. And like, they're already OP as is. Like, their frame data is fast as shit, so it's hard to super counter them when you're in a combo, right? Their moves already do crazy damage. They didn't need to add salt to the wound by giving them instant sparking. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only OP ass niggas that should have instant sparking is probably Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Beerus, and maybe Broly. That's it. Nobody else should have it, bro. I'm not even gonna cap. Now, if they want to give it to some of the lower, you know, mid-echelon characters, right? Like, I know Base Goku from Dragon Ball Super, he has instant sparking. You know, characters like that, that's totally fine. But the niggas that are already OP, like UI Goku, Jiren, right? Some of the fusion characters, like, they don't need that shit, bro. Like, they could easily take it out and replace it with like high tension or full power. Like, it'll give you all of your ki back. It just won't send you to instant sparking. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to giants, you should not be able to use more than one giant on a team. I said it. Like, you should not be able to have 2 giants on the same team, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I've been coming across way too many Anilazas, Great Apes, Dr. Wheelos, Janembas, right? It's just been a whole shit show of giant teams taking over the meta. The unblockable dash they have, that just makes shit even more annoying. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll get more characters that can fight giants later on, right? Besides Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Tapion. Now, the next thing is the mechanics, and this is just concerning the core mechanics of the game and gimmicks that certain characters have. So first up is, of course, the super counters. Now, I feel like those are way too easy to do, especially since you can just map it to a different button. That way, you know, instead of actually having to time the button combination to get the counter to come out, you can just press a button instead and the counter comes out automatically. This is very detrimental to the game for several reasons. One of those reasons being that, you know, dealing damage in this game, as well as any other fighting game, is heavily reliant on combos. What's the point of having a hit counter if it's not gonna go past 3? You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I get a nigga in a combo, they can just press a button and be out of it just like that. Now, one thing I can say about Jump Force is that they actually had a pretty well done stamina system where you had to, you know, be conservative about your stamina, be resourceful about when you wanted to get out of combos. And if you didn't have any stamina to use and your ass got caught, you was eating the whole Whopper meal, bruh. From combo to super attack to ultimate. You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the very few good things about Jump Force that they should have carried over to this game, right? So what I would suggest is, you know, make the super counter a bit harder to do, but not too hard to where there can't be a learning curve on how to execute it on time properly. And since it is a defensive option to get out of combos, that shit needs to cost. I'm not even gonna lie, maybe take off half a skill count for doing it at the most, like take off 1, right? I don't think it should be reliant on key. There are way too many mechanics in this game that are reliant on key, and that includes the movement itself, bruh. And that's another detriment to the game, bro. Like, I don't feel like they should have replaced the free dashing from Tenkaichi with whatever this short dash bullshit is. And on top of that, it costs key to use. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they definitely need to bring back the free flight from the older Tenkaichi games. Like, you know, the map is big too. Like, I want to be able to fly across the map, you know, without having to just short dash everywhere. You know what I'm saying? If they're gonna keep the short dash in, like, they need to make that hoe free, like, without cost. You know what I'm saying? Because we already have to conserve our key when we're in combat. Just performing movement itself should not cost any resources, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Unblockable ultimates, like I was saying before, them hoes gotta go. I'm not even gonna lie. The only characters that should have it are probably like the gods of the game. So that would be like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. He's a OG. Beerus, obviously. Maybe Z Broly. I don't think Super Broly should have it. I mean, if they want to give it to him, cool. Well, they already did. But those are the only 3 niggas that I feel like should have it. I'm not even gonna lie. Right? Now, if they gonna give niggas unblockable ultimates, let's be fair about it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you gonna make that hoe unblockable and do crazy ass damage from a OP nigga like Gogeta, they need to make them hoes cost. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, Gogeta's instant ult should not cost the same as, like, Vidal's instant ult, because Vidal's ultimate does not do damage, bro. Like, that shit is weak as fuck. So I think Vidal's instant ult being at 3 is perfectly okay. I think Bardock's being at 4, you know, that's okay. That can stay where it is. But if we gon' give OP characters unblockable ults that also do crazy damage, make them hoes cost, bro. So I'd say for them, go from like 3 to maybe 5. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to say 6 because Yajirobe with that 5 senzu bean, that nigga was already a fucking problem. So I'm really tempted to say 6. I'm not even gonna lie. But just for now, we'll say keep it at 5. Yeah, this is just assuming that they actually make that change to the game. When it comes to Master Roshi, like I was saying earlier, they don't need to make the move blockable. Just make it sidesteppable, right? You know, nerf the travel speed of that hoe. You know, don't make it so fucking fast. Like, I get it, it's called the lightning surprise attack. That hoe don't actually need to be as fast as lightning though, bruh. Like, at least with Gotenks' donut, you can sidestep that hoe if you got the timing down. So I feel like Master Roshi's move should be the exact same way. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I don't have much issues with the fusion characters, aside from Super Vegito with the after image strike. The after image mechanic, that hoe needs to cost too. I'm not even gonna lie, because I think it gives you 2 after images on activation. And that's way too many, bro. I get what they were trying to do, but y'all already know they was gonna abuse that hoe, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Same with fucking instant sparking into unblockable ults. Like, come on, bro. Y'all are just asking for people to abuse that, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Android 19, I am aware of that issue as well. Now, I will say, if you really know what you're doing, he's actually pretty easy to get around, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. With them giving him armor, so you can't really hit him out of grabs either, it's pretty clear that they programmed him to play that way. You know, they programmed him to play the way that people are playing him online. I don't necessarily know what they're gonna do about it. To be honest, I don't really give a shit because I already know my way around him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's that. Now, the last problem that is related to fixing the game would be none other than Ragequit penalties. Now, I don't believe in banning a player permanently off of a game that they paid for, right? Now, something like Fortnite, that's completely different. That's a free project that everybody can enjoy. So, you know, they can do whatever in their lane. You know what I'm saying? But Sparking Zero is different. You know, a lot of us saved up a lot of cash. You know what I'm saying? Mowing lawns. You know what I'm saying? Washing clothes, walking dogs. A fair amount of us, you know, probably had to save quite a bit to buy this game. So I don't really believe in banning somebody off of it permanently. And I'm sure that the devs don't either. That's probably why there's no penalties in place for just leaving the game. However, if a nigga is not demonstrating fair play online, they don't just want to take their L and they just want to turn the game off whenever they get fucked up. They gotta get penalized for it, bro. And that's just what it is. So if the devs catch a nigga just consecutively, constantly leaving all of his matches because he don't know how to take a loss, hey, here you go, Brody. Take a day off. You know what I'm saying? Take a day off, bro. Like, take some hours, take some days, maybe a week. You know what I'm saying? Go get your head straight and come back later, bro. And we all gonna be good from there, bro. But yeah, they definitely need to start adding some disconnect penalties, bro. Like, no joke, I've probably made about over 200 people rage quit because of some crazy combo that I did on them, or maybe like my playstyle was just so unorthodox that they didn't know how to read what the fuck I was doing. And they just fucking left the game, bro. So now that we're off the topic for actually fixing the game, now comes the features that they need to actually be implementing into the game, right? So let's just get the one everybody wants out of the way, and that is, of course, crossplay. Now, I'm not even gonna lie, I feel like it's gonna be a minute before we get crossplay, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, I know the devs said that they plan to implement it, you know, later on in the future, but y'all gotta understand, like, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, that game's been out for 8 years now, you know, going on 9 when 2025 hits, and that game still doesn't even have crossplay. You know what I mean? I don't think any of the Dragon Ball games have crossplay, actually. Not to mention that they've never tried a feature like that with the Tenkaichi formula before. So it's gonna be a minute before we get any news about crossplay entering the game. But let's just hope that it comes sooner rather than later. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I think, you know, if they drop a test for it, like a beta, you know, that would honestly suffice. You know, not now, obviously later on, right? Because last thing we need is for the crossplay feature to finally come out and it ends up being ass. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people were also suggesting that they should implement, you know, live service into the game as well. For those of y'all who don't know what it is, it's basically a battle pass. Now, I'm not against it, but we all know that whenever they implement live service into games like this, it never does well, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. Now, if they wanted to do something with that, they could have it to where, you know, we obtain different costumes and skins right? Depending on how much we grind for it, because something like this obviously has to be worth our while for, you know, grinding the game, getting the currency we need, you know, getting shit in the battle pass. So what I'm talking about is, you know, obviously costumes, right? Like Kid Trunks, he needs to have the hoodie fit that he be wearing in Dragon Ball Super, you know, sometimes in Dragon Ball Z, because he got that shit on. Adult Trunks needs to have the Bojack fit, you know what I'm saying? The ripped jean jacket, bro. That is his hardest fit by far. Teen Gohan needs to have the turtle gi from BoJack Unbound. I'm not even gonna lie. Videl and Broly need to have their second coming fits, right? If they wanted to go crazy about it, they could bring back skins that were in the Budokai games, like how Goku and Vegeta had them dripped up jackets and shit, bro. That shit was cold, I'm not even gonna lie. So if they brought that back, that would be pretty cool as well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe put like an unlockable character at the end of it, you know, just as a reward for grinding the battle pass all the way to the end. And the character don't gotta be crazy or nothing. Like maybe it could be one of the OG Dragon Ball characters that didn't make it, but they were in Tenkaichi 3. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it could be Supreme Kai or Kibito. Maybe even get their fusion in there. Or if they want to be crazy about it, you know, Super Saiyan Bardock, right? But that is, of course, assuming that they actually implement this feature into the game, which I doubt they will. I'm not even gonna lie. And the DLC, you know, where's the DLC at, bro? Like, where's the news on that? Because, you know, a lot of fighting games nowadays, we get news about the DLC immediately after the game drops. Like, maybe a character trailer, right? The date that the DLC is coming. Maybe if not a date, maybe like a time window, right? Something like that. But we haven't gotten anything besides like a little teaser for the Daima characters. And don't let that throw you off, by the way. They specifically said that the Dragon Ball superhero characters are coming first. Specifically Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. So like, where the scans at, bro? Like, where's the Gamma's trailer? Like, I'm not, you know, getting impatient or nothing, but I know a lot of us are, you know what I'm saying? Because even with, you know, 182 characters, it's still crazy that we're seeing the same niggas online, bro. We waiting for them new characters, bro. Cause we need somebody to break this meta. Hopefully Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, right? Maybe even the Gammas. And I know, everybody's asking the big question, and that is, will Dragon Ball Sparking Zero get Fighting Game of the Year? I'ma be honest and say probably not. I'm not even gonna lie, because Tekken 8 has just got way too much going for it right now. Now, me personally, I'm not playing the game currently. I didn't even buy it. But from what it looks like, everybody's been enjoying Tekken 8 since it first came out. There's not really as much complaining as there's been in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, right? Now, if Dragon Ball Sparking Zero gets it, I'm not against it, right? But from what it looks like, all the evidence is pointing to Tekken 8. But that is, of course, subject to change. Honestly, that's it. I just wanted to talk for a bit. Obviously, this is going to be a longer video because, you know, I'm still getting back into the groove of things since I've been gone. Next time y'all see me will probably be a stream, maybe tomorrow or Saturday. Really just depends on how I'm feeling, bro. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. Anyways, y'all, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think could help the game down in the comment section. Whether they need to implement a new feature that wasn't already there before, or whether they need to fix an ongoing issue that's been plaguing the game since its release. But anyways, y'all, that's it from me. I'm Armin Hammer. You already know what it is. Love y'all boys. Stay safe. Peace out. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one.